Honestly, I'm a bit disappointed with the current school system. Maybe the Minister of Education could listen to the feedback. The reality is, once you start living in the real world, starting to work, starting to interact with others, there's so much that's not taught in school. And the 5 things I'm going to share are 100% things you will need in your life, which I see are not taught in 99% of schools. Have you ever heard the saying, life is the best teacher? Life skills are a group of important abilities you need to live, make decisions, build a career, socialize, and be a part of society. And yes, these are not often taught in schools. So my advice is to start learning these 5 things now, especially if you're still in school. And if you have siblings, children, or grandchildren who are in school, make sure they learn these skills too. I will explain why schools don't teach these skills. But first, let's debunk a myth. The first life skill is how to press the subscribe button. Okay, on to the video. Life skill number 1 is making mistakes. We have always been taught not to make mistakes. When taking an exam, if we make a mistake on a multiple choice question, it gets marked wrong and our score decreases. We are brainwashed. We are indoctrinated that making mistakes is something to avoid. The reality is, in the real world, this is very misguided. You can ask anyone older or successful, no matter what. You will not be able to avoid mistakes. The most important skill you must have is to rise again after making a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes, but how do you rise after you fall? That's what matters. Step 1 is to break that mindset. If your teacher scolds you or your friends put you down saying you made a mistake, I think that's unfair. Successful people worth billions had to go through many mistakes. Every time we made a mistake, we learned. There is a framework for this that should be taught in school. If we want to do something risky, schools usually teach, don't take risks. Here, I say you must take risks. If it ends up wrong, and you will definitely experience mistakes, this is what should be taught. First, acknowledge the mistake. Don't deny it. If you deny it, you can't get to the second point. Analyze the problem. Why did the risk you took end up with a bad result? What should you do next to fix it? Third, ask yourself the tough questions. For example, like, yeah, because you were stupid, or more gently, because you weren't smart enough to analyze the risk, or simply couldn't execute the job well. Fourth, you don't want to repeat the mistake, do you? So the things you learn must be applicable to the next risks. 5, review progress. And I'll repeat, the first life lesson is not to avoid mistakes. Break the school's brainwash. If you still think being a person means not making any mistakes, I think that's wrong. The first life skill is how to take risks and handle mistakes. Trust me, you will make many mistakes throughout your life. Life skill number 2, seeking opportunities. Imagine, from elementary school to high school and even college, you are taught one thing, how to work well, but not how to find work well. You need to know those are 2 different skills. For example, you go to school to become an engineer or a programmer. The basics like making a CV, interview etiquette, using online platforms to find jobs, seeking freelance through marketplaces. Here are skills that I think are not taught, ranging from job searching, resume writing, interviewing, networking. In my opinion, this should at least encompass 1 credit hour or a semester. Before transitioning from education to the professional world, this step is vital and should be a priority in schools. Let's be honest. If you talk to your friends, how many with high GPAs still ask, what job should I pursue? So start investing now. The skill of finding good opportunities is just as important as mastering the job itself. Life skill number 3, money. Again, starting from this case. Do you have friends who are very smart in school, high GPA in college, but get trapped in online loans, losing money because of online gambling, struggling to pay mortgages? It's crazy. People who we know our whole life will deal with money. But the basics of budgeting, that's step number 1, budgeting. You need to know your current financial position, cash flow in and out. Step number 2, save and invest your money. If you can budget, now you have money. But where do you put it? If there's no literacy, maybe that's why many people gamble online. And investing, there's still a lot to learn. You can check Bruno's video on investment and how to start from zero. Step number 3, managing debt. Do you know what refinancing is? Do you know what restructuring is? Things like this should be taught in school, because paying off debt is one of the bottom layers of the financial pyramid. For example, if there's still debt, don't think about investing first like earlier. Things like planning for the financial future once the money is accumulated, protecting assets through risk management. These are things you need to learn now. Everyone throughout their lives will always deal with money, waiting for school or formal institutions to teach you about money. These are things you should learn now. I heard someone turned 1 million into 1 billion. Where did they learn? From life, really practicing, Googling, attending workshops. And yeah, again, I'm disappointed basic things like budgeting are not taught enough in school. Life skill number 4. This is my bitter experience, social interaction. When I was in school, in my opinion, that there were only 3 categories. You were the cool kid, the bullied kid, or the invisible kid. Kid who just neutral, just passing through school. Unfortunately, these 3 things shape our psychology and how we socialize. But unfortunately, we don't choose these. Honestly, if you want to be successful in life, if you want to blend well in society, you need to have social skills. Skills for socializing, like effective communication. For example, from language, from the way of conveying information, small talk skills, yes, that's a real skill. Next, conflict resolution skills. So if you have a fight with someone, what should you do? If you disagree with someone's opinion, how should you respond? Active listening, like how to listen to people and how to get useful information from people. And lastly, emotional intelligence. This, in my opinion, is one thing that makes people who should be successful become unsuccessful. Because school teaches us to think rationally, how we learn history, biology, mathematics, how to get good grades, avoid problems, don't take too many risks. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is so important that it surpasses IQ. So emotional intelligence is how we control our emotions and manage our feelings. And yes, honestly, you often make bad decisions based on emotions. Step 1, self-awareness. This is the foundation of emotional intelligence. We need to start knowing the things that trigger us, the things that make us angry, why they make us angry, the little things that make us emotional. We need to start being self-aware. Then step 2 is management. Here, we do not reject the emotions we feel. If we are angry, we shouldn't say, "I'm not angry." What you need to do is acknowledge that you are angry or sad or disappointed. You need to admit you feel that. If not, how can you manage that feeling? Start by taking a breath. Self-control. Third, social awareness. Now this, you need to learn to be sensitive to the people around you. If your friends, boss or subordinates are sad or angry, you can read this from their behavior, gestures, language, intonation. The final point is relationship management. This is how we maintain relationships with others. Because it's not just about talking once, happy, trusting. Next is how we maintain that. So why don't schools teach these 5 things? I will give a simple answer. They feel it's not their job. Schools feel we should be equipped intellectually with knowledge and information. These people know from themselves life skills are something we must learn on our own. We are often learned through personal experience from parents, mentors and friends. If we aren't taught them directly, we must be motivated to learn on our own. These 5 things are crucial, and I emphasize their importance. I truly hope you can learn them all. 1. Get rid of that school brainwash of, don't make mistakes. In life, you will make many mistakes. What needs to be learned is how to learn from the mistake and keep improving yourself. 2. Don't just focus on how to work, but focus on how to find work and opportunities. These are basic skills like persuading people, networking or sucking up, and these are all skills. 3. Money. Everyone in the world deals with money. Almost everyone, except people who live in very remote areas. If you can't manage money, money will manage your life. 4. Social interaction. Oh, this is very important. All opportunities in your life will definitely come from other people. If you are a programmer, don't think being good at coding is enough. You need to be good at talking to create opportunities. Lastly, emotional intelligence. How to control emotions. I think it's very important, to the point where I dare to say, don't be ashamed to go to a psychologist. Don't be ashamed to admit that you are easily angered. Because if all these combine, again, back to life skills that hopefully from watching this video, you start to realize there are dozens of other life skills you can learn that won't be taught in school. Hopefully this is useful, and I guess I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.